Child's voice whispers the words of a game in Korean. Suddenly, a harsh red light flickers on, revealing a cold, empty corridor, footsteps, slow, heavy, metallic. The audience is left with a question that lingers in the silence. Would you play if survival was your only chance? The screen fades in from black with nothing but the slow rhythm of a heartbeat. At first it feels faint, distant, almost human. Then the sound grows louder, stronger, until it begins to feel mechanical, as if the building itself has a pulse. A low drone rumbles underneath, carrying an unsettling weight. Suddenly, a single light flickers in the darkness, revealing a narrow concrete hallway. The walls are pale, cracked, and damp, as if no one has walked here for years. The silence is interrupted by the echo of footsteps. Each step lands with an unnatural heaviness, as though the person walking is not human or is carrying something too heavy to bear. The camera never shows a face, only a dark silhouette moving slowly forward, surrounded by shadows that stretch across the walls like reaching hands. The sound of a child's voice breaks through, softly humming the tune of a playground song. It echoes eerily, layered with distortion, making it feel both innocent and haunting at the same time. As the tune fades, a siren blares, sharp and cold. The camera cuts to faceless shots of masked guards standing motionless in a line. Their masks reflect the red glow of alarm lights, making them appear more like machines than men. The audience is never shown their eyes, only the expressionless black and white of their masks. The silence of the guards is louder than any words could be. The visuals shift again. A slow pan across an empty game arena. The floor is painted with faded markings from games past. Bloodstains can be seen if the viewer looks closely, though the camera never lingers on them. A metallic door slams shut in the distance, the sound reverberating like thunder across the empty room. In the corner, a single chair sits beneath a hanging light bulb. The bulb flickers, buzzing as if it struggles to stay alive, casting shadows that seem to move with a mind of their own. The narrator's voice finally enters, deep and measured, cutting through the silence with chilling clarity. The games were never meant to end. For every winner, there is another round. For every survivor, another test. And this time, the rules have changed. The words hang in the air, almost whispered, forcing the audience to lean closer, to wonder what could possibly be worse than what they have already seen. The screen flashes rapidly, showing distorted glimpses, a hand gripping a numbered card, a staircase painted in bright, cheerful colors now drenched in shadows, and the sound of chains rattling. Every shot is quick, sharp, and faceless, leaving the audience with fragments of something larger and far more dangerous. The music begins to build, strings scraping harshly against each other, creating a sense of unease. A red spotlight cuts across the arena, sweeping like a predator searching for prey. The camera then focuses on the floor. Slowly, in glowing red letters, a number appears, 456. The sound of the heartbeat returns. Stronger than before, but this time it is irregular, faster, panicked. The red light grows brighter, filling the screen until it drowns everything in its glow. Silence falls once again, broken only by the faint whisper of the child's voice repeating, "The game is never over." The section closes with a sharp cut to black. A single metallic door creaks open in the distance, and a burst of white light spills out. The audience is left in complete darkness again, their hearts pounding in sync with the fading echo of the door. The silence shatters with a loud metallic clang, as if two steel doors have just locked into place. A low hum fills the air, almost like electricity sparking through hidden wires. The camera slowly glides through an empty arena that looks different from the ones we've seen before. This time, the walls are covered in giant screens flashing numbers and shapes, glowing in a cold blue light. The floor is divided into shifting panels, moving up and down as if the ground itself is alive. The narrator's voice returns, steady and ominous. Every season brings a new challenge. Every challenge demands a higher price. The screen flickers and cuts to a faceless shot, a contestant's trembling hands clutching a simple glass marble. But as the hand turns, the marble glows red and begins to pulse, as if it has a heartbeat of its own. The audience is given no explanation, only the sense that the game has evolved into something more twisted than before. A heavy thud echoes, followed by a loud countdown alarm. The camera reveals a massive clock projected across a wall, ticking down from 60. The ticking grows louder, filling the room with dread. Quick flashes follow, each more disturbing than the last. A group of players are seen balancing on massive puzzle blocks, the ground below them opening into a pit of water filled with rotating blades. Another shot shows a narrow glass bridge suspended over a dark void, but this time the bridge shifts sideways, pieces vanishing in random order while contestants cling desperately to what remains. The screen then cuts to a giant mechanical beast in the shape of a traditional children's toy, its eyes glowing red as it scans the room. The sound of gears grinding echoes through the arena as the beast slowly turns its head. Locking onto unseen players, the narrator continues, his words layered over the rising chaos. They thought they understood the rules. They thought they knew how to play. But this time, the games are watching them. On screen, a close-up shows a contestant's number tag being scanned by a hidden camera embedded in the wall. The beeping sound grows faster, more frantic, until the screen abruptly cuts to black. The music sharpens, turning into sharp electronic pulses synced with quick flashes of visuals. We see faceless guards dragging a body away across the floor, blood smearing behind them. A hand slams against glass, muffled screams vibrating against the barrier. The next shot shows two contestants locked in a stalemate, their shadows stretching across the floor as if they are already ghosts. Every image is fleeting, chaotic, designed to leave the audience unsettled and craving to know more. Then the sound changes. A child's laugh echoes through the arena, playful yet mocking. The camera pans across a new setup, an enormous playground merry-go-round spinning at dangerous speed, with players holding on for their lives as centrifugal force tries to hurl them off into darkness. The sound of screams mixes with the childish laughter, creating an unsettling symphony of fear and innocence twisted together. The narration returns one final time in this section, low and chilling. This is no longer about playing fair. This is about playing smart. Because the games have grown smarter than them, the camera then reveals the shadow of the frontman standing in a control room high above the arena. Rows of monitors flicker with live footage of terrified players, every move watched, every mistake recorded. His faceless mask reflects the glow of the screens, turning him into a living mirror of control. As the section reaches its climax, the montage accelerates. Flashes of fire bursting from hidden traps. Players sprinting through collapsing tunnels, a close-up of trembling fingers releasing a rope just before the shot cuts away. A haunting siren echoes through it all, relentless and mechanical, almost like the arena itself is alive and hungry. Finally, the screen cuts to black. Silence. Then, a single sentence appears in glowing red letters. Would you survive the next round? The heartbeat returns, faster, sharper, louder, pulling the audience to the edge of suspense before fading into silence once more. Asterisk. The pounding heartbeat fades into silence. For a moment, the screen stays black, as if nothing exists. Then, slowly, a trembling hand enters the frame. The fingers are dirty, scraped, shaking as they clutch onto a card marked with a number. The camera never reveals the player's face, only the hand, the weight of exhaustion in its grip. The sound of shallow breathing fills the speakers, ragged and desperate, as though each breath is stolen rather than given. The narrator's voice returns, softer this time, almost sympathetic. Every number is a story. Every story is a debt. And here, every debt demands its payment. The visuals cut sharply. A shadowed silhouette kneels on the floor of a dim room, their shoulders shaking. Around them, the outlines of other contestants loom in the background, faceless, silent, watching. The camera closes in on the trembling figure, their hands covering their face, their body quivering with hopelessness. The silence is broken by the distant metallic slam of a door, reminding everyone that escape is impossible. The screen then shifts to a new image, two contestants clasping hands tightly in the darkness. We never see their faces, only the close-up of fingers intertwined, squeezing each other as if clinging to the last piece of humanity left inside the arena. The sound of a muffled whisper passes through the air, though the words are impossible to make out. They are not important. What matters is the bond, the fragile connection that promises comfort in a world designed to strip it away, but the comfort never lasts. The very next shot shows those same hands tearing apart, violently pulled in opposite directions. A sharp gasp echoes as one collapses to the ground, their shadow folding inward like a crumpled piece of paper. The narrator's voice grows heavier. Trust will betray them. Loyalty will break them. Because in the end, the only way to live is to let another die. The music begins to build again, low strings trembling like the players themselves. The camera shows quick glimpses of desperation, a player pounding their fists against a locked door, the sound echoing through the empty halls. Another curled in a corner, knees to their chest, trembling in silence. A pair of eyes staring through a mask, though we never see the face behind them, only the reflection of the arena lights. Every image tells a story of fear without ever needing a word. Suddenly, the trailer cuts to a slow-motion shot, a shadowed figure standing in the center of the game room, surrounded by fallen bodies. Their breathing is heavy, their shoulders slumped, but they are still standing. The arena floor is stained beneath their feet, but the camera never lingers long enough for the audience to see clearly, only enough to let their imagination fill the void. A line of narration pierces through the silence like a knife. Victory is not about strength. It is not about luck. It is about how much of yourself you're willing to lose. The next sequence unfolds like a cruel montage of human fragility. A contestant grips their chest, their breath hitching as though the weight of the games has crushed their spirit. Another throws their head back, releasing a scream that never comes. The sound is muted, swallowed by the silence of the arena. Another shadow stands in front of a wall, head bowed, holding onto their numbered tag as if it's both a curse and the only identity they have left. The music shifts into a soft, mournful piano, playing notes that feel more like tears than sound. As the montage continues, the imagery grows more symbolic. A close-up of a number tag floating in water, sinking slowly into darkness. A pair of shoes left behind on the arena floor, empty and forgotten. A shadow sitting alone at a long table, surrounded by chairs that will never be filled again. These visuals speak louder than dialogue, telling the story of loss and isolation without showing a single face. The section reaches its emotional peak with the narrator's voice, deep and unwavering. They came to win money, but what they will lose is far greater. The screen flashes violently, cutting between hands reaching out for help, doors slamming shut, guards watching silently from the shadows. Then it all stops. The screen fades to black again, and the faint sound of a sob echoes in the distance. It's not loud, not dramatic, just quiet, broken, and human. The sound lingers, stretching into the silence until it feels unbearable. Finally, the sob fades into nothing. And then, in complete silence, glowing red words appear on the screen. In the end, it's not the game that kills them. It's themselves. The music returns with a low, haunting hum as the screen fades out once more, leaving the audience unsettled, heavy-hearted, and desperate to see what happens next. The screen stays black for a long beat. A low rumble begins to grow, like distant thunder rolling beneath the earth. Suddenly, a blinding flash of red light floods the frame, and the sound of an air raid siren pierces the silence. The music surges with pounding drums, fast and unrelenting, as if mimicking the heartbeat of every contestant still alive. The camera cuts to a wide shot of the arena empty one moment, then bursting with chaos the next. Panels on the floor collapse inward, contestants scrambling to stay upright. Shadows tumbling into unseen pits below, the tempo accelerates. Images flash like strobe lights, guards storming through corridors, boots slamming against the ground in perfect rhythm. Massive doors slamming shut with a metallic boom. A faceless silhouette sprinting across the frame, chased by the shadow of something larger, mechanical, and merciless. Sparks shower across the screen as hidden traps spring to life, grinding gears and snapping wires filling the soundtrack. The games are no longer just tests, they are war. The camera cuts upward. A new arena looms into view, a colossal structure resembling a child's toy block tower, except the pieces shift and tilt under the weight of terrified players. One block slides free, sending silhouettes plummeting into the darkness. The scream is drowned out by the pounding music. Another shot reveals a deadly new contraption swinging pendulums armed with blades, slicing through the air just inches from trembling figures. Sparks fly each time the blades strike the ground, igniting small fires that quickly spread. The arena becomes a battlefield. The narrator's voice returns, louder, sharper, filled with grim finality. The game was never about winning. It was about surviving long enough to be chosen. The line echoes as the montage continues. A pair of hands clutches a rope desperately as it frays strand by strand. A silhouette leaps across a collapsing platform, the floor vanishing behind them. A guard raises a gun, the muzzle flashing as the screen cuts away before we see the result. The visuals spiral into frenzy. Players slam against each other in panic, alliances shattering under pressure. A shadowed figure shoves another off a ledge, their fall swallowed by the dark. Another struggles to climb, only to be dragged down by desperate hands clawing at their legs. Betrayal unfolds wordlessly, each action louder than any scream. The pounding drums and shrieking strings of the soundtrack merge into a storm of sound that feels overwhelming. Unstoppable, suffocating then silence. The screen goes black again, but this time only for a second. A sharp, singular spotlight snaps on, illuminating the center of an arena floor. One solitary silhouette stands, breathing hard, chest rising and falling. Around them, scattered across the ground, are the motionless shapes of others. The silence presses in like a weight, broken only by the slow creak of a metallic door opening in the distance. The figure turns toward the sound, though we never see their face. The narrator whispers, "One step closer to freedom." One step deeper into the nightmare. The music returns with one final surge, louder and more explosive than before. The montage quickens, guards marching in formation, flames consuming a corridor, a mask shattered on the floor, a giant mechanical eye blinking open, scanning the arena with a cold red glare. The screen flickers with chaos, bodies running, traps snapping shut, explosions tearing through silence. The heartbeat sound returns, pounding faster and faster, until it is almost unbearable, and then everything stops, the heartbeat cuts out. The music dies. Silence hangs heavy. The screen is black dot from the darkness. A voice whispers the final line. Calm yet chilling. The game has only just begun. The words fade, and glowing red letters slowly burn into the screen. Squid Game Season 4 official concept trailer, fan-made. Teaser. The letters pulse once, twice, then dissolve into static. A faint echo of the child's song returns, distant and broken, playing over the static as the screen fades out completely. The teaser ends, leaving the audience in breathless silence.